So typically there's going to be several keyword files. And what we'll do is we'll open up each one. And so here for this instance, we only have 2. Okay, I'm going to open up these 2. And I'm going to open up a third Excel file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the complete list of phrases from each one. So that's file 1 and file 2. Okay. And so that gives us 204 phrases or search terms. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll, where is it? I'll remove duplicates. Let's go through that. 5 duplicates found. So there's 200, it's roughly 200 keywords remaining. So I'll copy that. And I have some notes here because what I'm going to do next is actually start creating these campaigns. So I'll go to Campaign Manager. And I'll pause this one. I'll create a campaign.
So this is your manual campaigns outside of your. So you've really got automated ones set up and running, right?
I'm gonna walk through the automated.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
In case people are curious about that. So I'm a very data-driven kind of a guy. I like to also make things as descriptive as possible. So in our agency, we have a naming convention, and this is the naming convention we use. So just to go through it real quickly, I mean, this looks pretty cryptic, but the first part is the date. That's the date we created the campaign. The next part is C8, which is abbreviation for my agency. Next is product line. A lot of people simply call this the product. After that, we include like the variation name. So if like you're selling towels, that would be the name of the product line. And then if you're selling a blue towel, then the product name would be blue.
Don't give away my product, man.
Maybe I just gave away my product. Then I'll put in an ASIN. So this will be the ASIN value, and it'll be inserted in here. Then after that, I'll put the campaign type. So we're going to be creating auto campaigns first. And then finally, there's this tag called descriptors, which allows us to put anything we want. So in the last couple of months, we saw, like the placement top multiplier come out, right? So that's a descriptor that we could put in here. Where we type placement.
Yeah, I definitely want to remember that placement top versus page versus other pages. We should talk about that later on.
Right,
sure.
right. Yeah. Okay, so then the reason why we come up with this naming convention is that so one of the features that had been rolled out in the past few months is our portfolios. And portfolios are strictly an organizational mechanism. They're great for defining a budget that applies to all the campaigns that you put into the portfolio. But prior to that, it was difficult to sort the campaigns and look at the aggregate stats based on all the campaigns for a product. So we deliberately put in the ASIN or sometimes the SKU value,
gotcha,
so that we can identify the list of campaigns. And we still do that to this day, simply because portfolios just came much more later on. And so that's what we'll use for our naming convention. So I'll go ahead and create these automatic campaigns. And I've actually already pre-created them. So take this, daily budget. So the range for the daily budget, so this is for the auto high campaign. So the range is going to be $5 to $10. And the second automatic campaign is going to have a larger range of daily budgets. And the reason why I put this range is if we go ahead and put, say, okay, so let's start with $5 daily budget. We're going to leave this with automatic targeting. And for the ad group, we also have a naming convention where we take the ASIN value and we follow it up with the targeting, I guess the targeting type, for lack of a better term. Cool. So that'll be auto. Then this, having the ASIN there makes it really easy because we could search for it. There are 2 SKUs, and I'm not going to bother figuring out which one is the valid one. I'm just simply going to add the first one.
Okay.
Campaign strategy, so for traditional campaigns, we're going to leave this as dynamic bids down only, because if you read this description here, Amazon actually tells us that prior to rolling out the option for selecting a campaign bidding strategy, that it was dynamic down behind the scenes. So most people are most familiar with tuning their campaigns and optimizing based on the traditional campaign structure. So therefore, we're going to stick with dynamic bids down only. Okay,
Gotcha.
so if we read this real quickly, they say that will lower your bids in real time when your ads may be less likely to convert to a sale. Okay, so the difference between that.
So that's their attempt at day parting almost, like when people aren't searching,
Yeah.
they'll drop the bid a bit. But
I think so, yeah. So this also explains why you may set the bid, or in a lot of cases you'll set the bid at $1, but your CPC is going to be 40 cents or 50 cents or 60 cents. So this explains why. Now the antithesis of that is fixed bids, where if you fix it at 50 cents, then
no matter what.
then you're right. So if there's going to be placement that dictates, like 40 cents or 30 cents, then theoretically you may not get the impressions, but we're not really sure about that per se. Again, because these are very new features. So we'll set this and we'll leave it at dynamic bids down only. Okay, so the default bid down here, the suggested bid is 55 cents. Now, so this is the auto high campaign, so we want to bid high. The top end of what Amazon suggests is $3.25. Ooh. So I'm actually going to put in $3.25. Okay.
Okay.
Well, $3.25.
It's one click.
Thank you very much. You
Or
barely
1.5,
get a click in,
yeah.
right? So then, okay, all right, 5 cents is not going to yield you too many data points, so let's bump this up to 10.
Gotcha.
Okay. Sometimes we see the suggested bid range be absolutely crazy, like potentially in the supplement space, potentially beauty. You can see suggested bids being, values exceeding $5, sometimes $6, $7. In that case, well, those are saturated niches, so you're just going to have to adjust accordingly for that, if you still care to get into those niches. For negative phrase, there's no need to put anything in there. And then we will launch this campaign.
So, and then if you're doing, we don't have to go through that, but if you were doing the automatic low, you would just do the opposite of that. You do the
Pretty
5
much.
and then choose it on the same level.
Right, right.
Cool.
Okay, what happened? So we go back here, create campaigns. So the bid range is $10 to $20, so we'll set it at 20. Automatic targeting.
So because you're doing a higher daily budget but a lower click.
That's right.
Gotcha.
That's right. Copy the ASIN, search for the ASIN.
I'm just repeating it for my own head.
Just so we'll give you a pop quiz later. Default bid, you could leave it at 75 cents. The suggested bid is 55. We'll actually go with 55 cents in this case. So let's make sure everything looks right. So daily budget of $20, automatic, and dynamic bids down only. Good, looks good. And we'll go ahead and launch a campaign for that.
Great.
Okay, so that takes care of the automatic campaigns.